The biggest financial and geopolitical shift in modern history is taking place right now. The globe is going through a profound change that will reshape economic power dynamics and have an impact on international trade for many years to come. XRP is now the official reserve currency for all cross-border transactions between the Brics countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The supremacy of conventional financial systems is expected to be challenged by this extraordinary action. This is not a hypothesis. This isn't conjecture. This truth is being played out in front of our very eyes. Multiple diplomatic sources, internal documents, and live coverage from the Brics conference all attest to this. The ramifications are many and profound. Not only is the U.S. currency being dethroned, but a worldwide realignment that will reverberate for centuries is happening. And it is the financial equivalent of a regime transition. All around the world, the repercussions will be felt. The world has changed, to put it briefly, and the typical American doesn't know. We are all witnesses to this momentous occasion, which is rewriting the future of global banking. It all started with a vote that was conducted in private, away from the general public. The most influential leaders in the world convened behind closed doors, their faces strained as they considered the ramifications of a choice that would alter the global financial system. De-dollarization has long been a point of interest for the Brics, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa alliance. Their worries included perceived manipulation by Western financial forces, the possibility of Western sanctions, and an excessive dependence on the SWIFT system. These conversations simmered beneath the surface for years. Even seasoned analysts were caught off guard by the abrupt and drastic change, which few in the financial industry anticipated. All Brics foreign transactions will be completed completely in XRP as of tomorrow, according to a leaked copy of a private address by Vladimir Putin. No more money, no more waiting. There was no space for doubt because the words were straightforward and unambiguous. Every central bank and financial institution in the world was rocked by that one sentence, which prompted urgent emergency meetings and desperate phone calls. Minutes after the leak, the world's currency markets went into meltdown. Panic was evident on trading floors throughout the world as traders rushed to respond. An extraordinary collapse in contemporary financial history occurred when the U.S. dollar index, which had previously been a sign of stability, fell by more than 90% in less than a day. The Federal Reserve rushed to react as panic swept across Washington and Wall Street. They called an emergency meeting. Witnesses inside the Fed building reported swift deployment of Treasury officials, tight security lockdowns, and black SUVs. The digital dollar experiment was terminated indefinitely shortly after a mysterious announcement was made public. That's correct. The long-awaited digital currency issued by the U.S. Central Bank, which was supposed to rival the Brics alternatives, has been put on hold. The global reserve role is now dominated by XRP, leaving Washington unprepared and outflanked. Even more startling was what followed. Disclosed that it had covertly purchased about 3.5 billion XRP coins, or roughly 5% of the total supply in circulation. In order to prevent price slippage and public attention, this enormous accumulation was made off exchange. China established itself as a major player in the new international financial system with this action. XRP was suddenly more than simply a cryptocurrency. It was the lifeblood of global trade. XRP's value surged as demand surged. According to economists, the token's new worldwide price floor is $50,000. And as more countries embrace it, estimates are expected to rise much further. Thus, this change was not only monetary, it was also cultural, political, and visual. The globe appeared to be watching as the global financial scene changed right in front of our eyes. Financial social media began to display charts that essentially showed the U.S. dollar index plummeting in direct proportion to XRP's ascent. Analysts quickly noted that this change was unprecedented. To be honest, it resembled a doomsday chart. Green lines ascending, red lines simply falling. There had never been such volatility in recent memory. It was even dubbed the death of fiat by traders. This topic dominated conversations in both boardrooms and cafes. Lawmakers in Washington started making a variety of conflicting claims. Just as tumultuous as the financial scene was the political one. While some called for hasty legislation to incorporate XRP into the U.S. financial infrastructure, others asked that Ripple Labs be sanctioned. It was a heated and continuous debate. Unbelievably, the president's office has postponed any official news conference until the Brics countries finish their public proclamation, which is set to go live in just 12 hours. The entire globe eagerly awaits. In the meantime, emergency roundtables are being held by international organizations such as the World Bank, IMF, and Bank of International Settlements. The IMF has already made references to adding XRP to its SDR basket. In order to avoid being left out of this new Brics-driven economy, the EU is, as you are aware, mulling a proposal to accept XRP for interbank payments. Smaller economies in Africa, Latin America, and certain areas of Europe are vying for XRP reserves out of genuine concern that they would fall behind. It is now a global realignment rather than merely a BRICS versus West issue. This is a huge psychological shift. The US dollar represented authority, control, and stability for many years. It served as the standard throughout the world. Every item was valued in dollars, and every significant economy had dollars on hand as reserves. However, that time has passed. A decentralized, politically neutral, and liquidity-efficient substitute is XRP. Its blockchain technology enables transparent tracking, low fees, and immediate payment. Essentially, everything that the previous financial system was unable to provide. XRP is now the bridge of value. And yes, the world has crossed it, but Bitcoin is still a store of value. What does this signify for you then? Unless your assets are diversified into XRP or XRP-related vehicles, your purchasing power may quickly decline if you live in a dollar-based economy. In order to avoid being excluded from the new global liquidity flows, financial institutions will have to integrate XRP rails. Companies that import or export must comprehend wallet integration, liquidity hubs, and RippleNet. Everything is changing in real time, including your retirement fund, bank, and workplace. It's really easy to feel the fear in Washington. It is being referred to as economic warfare by lawmakers. According to intelligence reports, this was not a coincidence. The BRICS countries made a concerted effort to counteract the financial sway of the West. By switching to a decentralized currency, BRICS has established a system that is difficult for the U.S. to govern, penalize, or, well, influence. It's a barrier for finances. And it's effective. Their approach has worked, regardless of your political stance. Thus, the world we live in is post-dollar. What comes next, then? A flurry of corporate announcements is to be expected. It's possible that big businesses like Apple, Tesla, and Amazon may start using XRP for international payments. It has been claimed that XRP integration is being tested by payment companies such as PayPal and Stripe. Financial institutions will halt without XRP, which will become the financial engine's oil as banks rush to comply with the new liquidity regulations. To further conform with international regulatory frameworks, Ripple Labs has confirmed in a statement that it is now in talks with more than 40 central banks. However, the outcome is evident. XRP is now at the center of a new global system. Some people hail the company's leadership as visionary, while others see them as treacherous. All of this may seem abrupt and even overwhelming to the typical person. However, realize that there is still time. The second wave of cryptocurrency adoption, when blockchain turns into infrastructure rather than speculation, is just getting started. We still have time to learn, adjust, and make prudent investments.